Hey everyone, it's Enjoy English School. I'm Chris Gorski.
I'm Antony.
Today is February 11th. We're on pages 26 and 27 in your magazine, and it's day 2 of our The Guardian in the Field article.
Yeah, 没错，我们今天要继续跟各位介绍我们昨天介绍过的稻田守卫者稻草人的故事。我们昨天呢简单的讲了一下稻草人的外形啦，还有在历史上稻草人怎么样的被古希腊人古罗马人跟古埃及人运用，然后到了现代呢，日本、德国、英国他们是怎么样使用稻草人，他们稻草人长什么样子。我们今天要继续介绍更多跟稻草人有关的故事哦。
That's right. I love learning about where things come from. I have a real strong interest. These are one of my favorite kinds of articles we do here. We learned about the ancient Egyptians, the Greeks, how did the Romans, Japanese, the Germans, and even how we used British kids as scarecrows in the past. We got more history today. For me, that's super exciting, and I hope you enjoy it too. Let's get ready for our first paragraph. Okay, friends, let's jump right into paragraph 1, and it begins. Throughout the years, scarecrows have made many appearances in popular culture.
好，在第一段第一句话里面我们就看到了 Throughout the years, scarecrows have made many appearances. 好 made many appearances 这边的话用法就是登场或是亮相 in popular culture 意思就是在很多的这种流行文化中我们都有看到稻草人的身影哦。
Now, it's very common to see popular culture be shortened to pop culture. Probably should write that down. Popular, P-O-P, pop culture, because that's a pretty common word in English when we're talking about the media, books, magazines, music, and movies.
没错，所以这个 popular culture 也是刚刚老师所讲的，我们常常在口语上听到 P-O-P, pop culture, 把它那个后面那个 U-L-A-R 把它拿掉之后，直接讲流行文化。
Let's continue. In the oldest book of Japanese literature, the Kojiki, a scarecrow named
Kuebiko
appears.
OK, 所以我们来看这个地方啊。他说 In the oldest book of Japanese literature, the Kojiki. 好，在这边告诉你一个很早的日本最古老的文学作品，叫做《古事记》。你可以想象一下，就很像是那个日本的那种《山海经》啊，好，就我们的《山海经》的那种感觉，对不对？叫以前的时候有什么大神啊这样的故事 OK 好他说 A scarecrow named Kuebiko appears 好在这个故事里面呢有一个稻草人他的名字叫做九眼皮骨好 Kuebiko 他就出现在这个故事里头。
So underline the word literature. That just means stories, but it sounds much more formal. It sounds much more professional. So stories means literature, but boy, does that sound a lot more high level than, say, stories. But don't be afraid of that big word. It's a word we should know, but there's easy ways to say it.
没错，所以 literature 听起来是文学，听起来很高档的一个字汇，好对。但事实上它里面有许许多多的故事，用 stories 来表达很平易近人，用 literature 来表达听起来就比较高端一点。
Our next sentence begins, Though he can't walk, Kuebiko is a kind of all-knowing God.
好，所以在这边他就告诉你说 Though he can't walk 好，虽然他不能行走，他没有办法走路 Kuebiko 好，这个角色这个稻草人呢 It's a kind of all-knowing God 就是他是一个无所不知的神好，在这里头的话他是这样的一个角色设定。
We can underline is a kind of in this sentence. When we use is a kind of in this kind of sentence, 就是在这种的句子, what are we trying to say? We're really saying we don't have an exact perfect thing to compare it to in our culture or an idea of it. So we're like, it's a kind of sort of like this. It makes it a little bit weak because we don't have a very clear idea what we can compare it to. We have to kind of just give you what we call a ballpark estimation. We think it's kind of sort of like this.
老师刚用到一个字 ballpark estimation. Estimation 就是预估或者是评估，然后如果说今天 ballpark 就是不是很准确的，好 not very precise， 好那种感觉上就像说我找不到一个对应的东西，但是比较接近是什么吧， 好，他给你想要表达这个概念，所以在这句话讲说 Quebico is a kind of 就是有一种不是很准确，但是类似像是你们说的什么东西那样的感受。
Let's continue. In the mid-19th century, writer Nathaniel Hawthorne brought scarecrows into North American literature with the short story Feathertop.
好，现在告诉你了，在第二段这个地方他说 In the mid-19th century 好，在19世纪中期的时候呢 Writer Nathaniel Hawthorne 好，这个 writer 呢 brought scarecrows into North American literature with the short story Feathertop 他就告诉你说在他的短篇小说 Feathertop 里面就把稻草人带入了这个北美文学里头。
Okay, there's that word literature again. Let's see another good word in our next sentence.In this tale, a witch who prays to the devil in the town of Salem brings a scarecrow to life.
好，在这个句子里面 in this tale 这个字的意思就是 story 的意思。A witch who prays to the devil 一个会崇拜，一个会去就是不断的去膜拜这个恶魔的女巫呢 in the town of Salem 还是住在这个地方brings a scarecrow to life 好，就居然用这个魔法呢就赋予稻草人一个生命。
Now, we have to be careful of the verb pray here, P-R-A-Y, because there's another common phrase we could say here, to give praise to somebody. When we give praise, P-R-A-I-S-E, we're telling other people how wonderful this God or the devil is. So I'll say, hey, Anthony, do you love the devil? You should because 怎么样, right? That's to give praise. When we pray to the devil, you are talking to the devil and saying what you want. So when you pray to God, you're talking to God. When you give praise to God, you're telling other people how wonderful God is.
没有错。所以在这边的话呢，老师刚提到说 praise 这个地方的话呢，指的意思是对这个恶魔说话膜拜，对不对？好，但如果说今天你有时候听到外国人讲说 give praise to 什么什么东西的话，这个 praise 是 P-R-A-I-S-E 是赞美，就是告诉人家这个恶魔有多好，或是这个神有多好，它的意思是不一样，说话对象不同。 If you pray to the devil or God 你是对恶魔或神说话， But if you give praise to the God or devil 那就变成说你告訴人家這個惡魔或這個神有多好。
All right, let's take a quick break. And when we come back, we have paragraph 3. All right, we're back with more Enjoy English School. We're on paragraph 3, and again, we're on pages 26 and 27 in our magazine. Let's begin. Then there is the most famous scarecrow in the whole world. His name is simply Scarecrow, and he appears in L. Frank Baum's The Wonderful Wizard of Oz.Okay,
好，来，我们来看第三段这个地方他说 And there is the most famous scarecrow in the whole world. 好，接下来我们要介绍是全世界最有名的稻草人了。His name is simply Scarecrow. 他名就叫稻草人，好没创意哦。And he appears in L. Frank Baum's The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. 好，各位应该有听过这个，对不对？好，就是绿野仙踪。好，这个 Dorothy 还有这个他三个这个冒险的伙伴的故事。
That's right. Let's continue, and we'll learn more about them here. In the children's novel, Scarecrow joins Dorothy, or Dorothy, Tin Man, and the Cowardly Lion on an adventure to meet the wizard of the magical land of Oz.
哇，好长的句子 OK 在这个 In the children's novel 在这个童话故事童话书里头呢 Scarecrow 不要忘记这个 Scarecrow 它 S 是大写的对不对指的就是他稻草人这个人名Scarecrow 这个角色 joins Dorothy 好就是他这个故事的这个女主角陶乐斯 Tin Man and the Cowardly Lion on an adventure 这个字就是一个冒险的旅程通常外国人听到这个字的时候会觉得很兴奋 adventure 听起来冒险好像是充满了新奇的事物 adventure to meet the wizard of the magical land of Oz 然后跟着一起去到奥兹这个王国它里面有一个非常厉害的一个魔法师好这个奥兹的这个魔法师这样的一个故事
That's funny you comment on the word adventure because I often pay attention to the way Taiwanese and Chinese language speakers use the word 冒险 in your language. And because we kind of do use them in a little bit different ways, but they're both really popular words. We both really like this word a lot, right?
没错
I see 冒险 everywhere and all sorts of things. I'm like, is this really a 冒险? But then I'm sure when you look at it too, you're like, oh, why would you use 冒险 there, right?
Yeah,
Adventure. It's a popular word.
所以说很奇妙的是，我们中文讲到冒险的时候，你不要冒这个险啊，小心啊，不要冒险，慢慢来就好。所以我们提到冒险的时候，那个险其实是 risk。Don't take any risk.
Right.
但是呢，到了英文区的时候，如果说今天是一场大冒险的旅程，里面会看到很多新奇的事物，我们不会用 risk 这个字，我们会用 adventure。同样，中文这个冒险有可能有不同的意思。到了英文区的时候，你要根据这个语境去选择，到底要用 risk 还是用 adventure。
And that's really interesting that you use the word risk because I wrote my 同义词 above this. I used my synonym. I wrote the word journey, Journey, because when we go on adventures, they feel like they're going to be far away from home. So it's a little bit of culture built into this word, isn't there?
没有错，在里面就内含了这种好像冒险要离开家要出去闯荡的那种感觉。
All right, let's go. When they find him, Scarecrow hopes to ask him for the one thing he lacks, a brain.
好，他说 when they find him 的话当然指的就是奥兹的这个魔术师魔法师，对不对？ Scarecrow 好，这稻草人这个角色呢 hopes to ask him for 好 ask someone for something 就是要这个人帮他或是给他什么东西 for the one thing he lacks 给他一个他缺少的东西 a brain 就是大脑。
That's a big thing to not have.
不能缺少的东西非常重要。
Since the release of the book, Scarecrow has appeared in films and plays around the world.
好，最后呢，他就说了 ，since the release of the book， 如果用 release 这个字的话，通常是指东西的出版、出品，好，不管是书也好，电影也好，都可以用 release 这个字，在这边当名词使用。自从呢，绿野仙踪好出版了、发行了之后呢 ，Scarecrow 好这个角色 has appeared in films and plays around the world， 稻草人就在很多的电影啦、舞台剧中啊，都可以看得到了。
Now, there are a lot of really, really fun stories that talk about the Wizard of Oz movie, but we're just going to share a few quick ones here with you. The cowardly lion that we talked about earlier actually wore real lion skins. His costume was made out of real lions, and they weighed over 50 pounds, which is like 25 kilograms.
我的天哪！所以说今天如果你去看那个 Wizard of Oz 里面背后有很多幕后花絮跟故事其中老师就提到说，那个负责当那个胆小狮的那个人呢，他穿的狮子是真正的狮皮，然后那个狮皮非常非常重，他差不多50磅重，差不多就是20几公斤的那种重量。
That's right. The Tin Man used real metal paint on his face, and so when he would breathe the paint, he had all this metal in his lungs. It almost killed him.
我的妈呀！还有那个奇人，对不对？他脸上那个 paint， 他脸上那个颜料，对不对？他是用的是真的那种颜料，他一直吸呼吸的时候都会把颜料吸进去，几乎会要了他的命。
And of course, when the witch, she would disappear in a big cloud of smoke. It would make her green paint on her face burn, and she burned her face all up.
我的天哪 ！OK， 所以里面那个西方女巫，她那边是脸上不是绿绿的吗？然后到她消失的时候，她脸上变绿色嘛。那个时候她会那个闪闪发光，脸上那个会烧起来，就还差一点把她脸都烧焦了。
But this is my favorite story. So in The Wizard of Oz, they get to the Emerald City where the wizard lives, and outside of the city, there are these two horses that are strange colors.
OK， 然后老师最喜欢的故事是这个到后来他们这一群人浩浩荡荡的一路到了这个翡翠城的 Emerald City 之后呢，在这个开始的地方，他会有看到两只颜色很漂亮、很不一样的这个马。
So if you look, there's this purple horse, and it keeps licking its skin, its fur, and that's because they painted this horse purple with Jell-O.
如果你仔细看的话，你看其中一只紫色的那匹马，怎么老是在舔自己的身体，一直在舔身上皮肤？后来才知道说，原来他们是那个紫色他们是用那个 Jell-O， 是用那个果冻。可食用的果冻颜料涂上去的，然后呢，马很喜欢那个果冻的味道，就一直舔。
That's right. They liked it so much, they kept licking it off, and so they just hurried and filmed the scene because the horse kept eating it.
Yeah， 所以说这幕戏的时候，在拍的时候呢，他们就必须要动作很快，不然马就把身上颜料都舔光了，就穿帮了。
All right, well, with that, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll finish our article. All right, friends, welcome back to Enjoy English School. We're on pages 26 and 27. Let's finish today's article. Aside from these examples, scarecrows have featured in rock songs by bands like Pink Floyd and as characters in comic books like the well-known villain in the Batman series, and his name is Scarecrow.
OK， 我们来看看这句话他说 aside from， 记得 aside from 就是 besides something， 好，就是除了什么之外 aside from these examples， 除了刚刚所举的这些例子之外呢 scarecrows have featured in something， 这个 feature 指的意思就是变成什么东西的主题，那什么东西的主题呢 in rock songs by bands like Pink Floyd， 好，这个 Pink Floyd 是之前很有名的一个英国摇滚乐团，好，非常非常有名的，它会变成这个英国摇滚乐的这个主题 and as characters in comic books， 好，它也会变成这个漫画里面的角色 like the well-known villain in the Batman series， 好，就像是在这个蝙蝠侠的连载漫画里面，它有一个反派角色 villain 就是反派的意思，它的名字就叫做 Scarecrow。Yeah,
Scarecrow in the movies makes you, in the comic books, he has like a poison gas that makes you afraid of something. It kind of knows what you're most afraid of, and it kind of makes you go crazy. You can see him in the movie Batman Begins, which I want to say came out like in 2005.
我记得也是在哪一集里面，他就是会戴着那个 Scarecrow 的那个面具嘛，然后喷一个毒气，然后你闻到那个毒气之后，你最恐惧的事物就会浮现你的脑海，你就会整个崩溃，很害怕。然后是在2005年的那一集的这个蝙蝠侠里头的电影有出现过。
Let's continue. On Halloween, they are brought out as scary decorations.
好，接下来告诉你了 On Halloween， 好，就是在这个万圣节的时候呢 they are brought out as scary decorations， 他们呢也会出现，然后被当作是可怕的那种装饰品。
Now, on Halloween feels like October 31st, 就是当日, but if we say at Halloween, it feels like at Halloween time, which means like the month of October. So you might see at Halloween a little bit more because, at least for me, I know I like to hang lots of Halloween decorations for the whole month of October. I don't wait until one day.
没错，所以如果你看到人家讲 on Halloween 的话，那就是10月31号那一天。但如果你有机会看到人讲 at Halloween 用 at 的时候，代表是可能整个这个10月份大家都有那种万圣节的氛围嘛，那时候用 at 的时候，就像我听到 at Christmas， 那时候就会觉得说是一整个 Christmas 的那个假期，而不会只是 Christmas on Christmas Day or Christmas Eve 那种感觉。
Both practical and spooky scarecrows continue to capture our imagination.
好，最后一句话就说了。Both practical and spooky. Practical 就是非常实用，它真的可以吓走鸟，对不对？ And spooky 可以当装饰品，看起来很恐怖。Scarecrows continue to capture our imagination. 如果你说 capture one's imagination， 代表就是第一个大家会觉得哇，看到之后想象力就被怎么样？不断的被激发出来，然后呢，甚至会觉得哇，这个东西好有趣哦，这样子的一个情绪，你可以说 capture our imagination。Okay,
and with that, let's get ready to take a quick break. And when we come back, we got vocab review. All right, friends, it is time for vocab review, and let's dive right in. Our first phrase today is to make an appearance.To
make an appearance 就是登场亮相的意思。
Be careful of the plural appearances. Next, we have another phrase, to bring something to life.
To bring something to life 就是把这个人或是把这个东西赋予了生命。
Next, we have a noun, an adventure.
Adventure 就是冒险的意思。
Next, we have another noun, but it's often used like a verb, a release.Release
好，这边可以当名词，可以当动词。这边的话，当名词指的是出版作品。
Next, we have another phrase, aside from something.
Aside from something 意思就是指除了什么东西之外。
Next is another verb. It means the special thing. To feature.
To feature 这个字的话，通常是指当做什么什么的主题。
Next, we have an adjective, practical.
Practical 就是指很实用的意思。
And then lastly, our last phrase today is to capture our imagination.
To capture one's imagination 指的是让某个人的兴趣盎然，或者是指让某个人激发了他的想象力。
And that is it for today, but we'll be back later this month with more Enjoy English School. I'm Chris Gorski.
I'm Antony.
We'll see you then. Bye-bye.